Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody around the world. Welcome back to the One Piece video featuring your girl, Boa Hancock. Get ready for a very, very spicy deck profile featuring a deck in which we don't typically do, especially when it comes to this current format. Now, me personally, I haven't played a Boa list on the channel in some time, right? To be fair. Outside of doing this on video format, I very much enjoy playing Boa, especially into the current metagame in OP10. She has gained access to some new cards, being Jozu and OP08, which did make this deck come back a little bit, not necessarily do anything on Dofi levels, but Jozu, pretty solid card when it comes to Boa. We did gain access to Kyros in OP10. That does make this deck quite strong. Especially with the meta shift and how things are going right now, Boa has a lot of good matchups in today's format. And we're talking into decks like Shanks, we're talking into Blackbeard, Jewelry Bonnie. This deck in itself is doing very, very well. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you my deck list here, why we're using certain cards, and we'll get into it. Currently, these are some of, if not all of the ones that are relevant in Boa Hancock when it comes to bounce effects, removing cards on the field, bottom decking. These are most of the cards you're going to see in a lot of Boa lists going forward, at least into OP10. Now, you also might see cards you don't typically see, such as 3000 Worlds, and again, the Kyros. Some decks don't feature Doflamingo here, but we're going to dive into it. In every blue deck that I typically run on my channel, or in general play at locals, I'm always running a 3000 Worlds. Maybe 2, maybe 4, depending on the metagame, the matchups. This card is very, very strong. You got to keep in mind there are a lot of cards right now in today's format that this card can hit that are problematic. You're able to remove Cavendish, and I'm pretty sure if you don't know what this card is by now, you might be living underneath a rock. Cavendish for green, a very, very strong card for all green decks in today's format. You must have on-spot removal when this card hits the board, and I think 3000 Worlds is a pretty strong card to deal with this, especially when you are playing blue. Not only Cavendish, you have cards like Carrot, which allow you to attack and have an on-play ability that allows you to rest a 7-cost character on your opponent's side of the board. They cannot be active, which is really good. 3000 Worlds also removes this. Now you may argue that's what Gravity Blade's for. Well, yes, Gravity Blade hits 2 cards for 7 Dawn, which is quite expensive, and this is why you typically don't run 3 to 4 copies in most decks out there. Some decks will run 3 of these, great. But again, being very expensive, you have options with 3000 Worlds being able to use and hit other characters, especially cards like Jesus, which, if you guys are familiar, Jesus here is very, very good into every deck out there in the format that cannot remove this with an effect. So, if you have options of bottom decking or bouncing them back to your opponent's hand, 3000 Worlds, Gravity Blade, these 2 cards will do the job. Perfect, right? We're good to go. Being able to get this off of a trigger as well, being able to remove characters into the matchup with Blackbeard is also very, very good. Because you have cards like Don Q, which is problematic, especially if you want to attack into this and give Blackbeard more cards. Being able to get these off trigger also help you out in these matchups as well. I've also tried to utilize as many bounce effects in Boa that I possibly can. That doesn't slow down my play as much as it might in another blue deck, right? To be fair. You also will utilize 3000 Worlds in decks like Rebecca, Usopp, as you guys might see going forward here in OP10. Very, very fun decks to play. Now, when it comes to Boa, we also have access to 7-drop Doflamingo and 7-drop Kyros. The reason why I think Kyros is going to be pretty good here, especially when it comes to Boa in O10, is the fact that this guy is a 9,000 power versus Dofi being a 7k. They both do the exact same thing. Dofi bounces back a 7 cost, Kyros bounces back a 5 cost. The difference here is not the cost, just the power of the characters on board. A 7k is a little bit harder to protect versus a 9k. Most Boa decks will run anywhere between 8 to 12 2ks. Some decks opting to run more, but typically it's going to be anywhere between 8 to 12. Pitching less 2Ks to protect Kyros ideally would be better than pitching for the 7-cost Doflamingo. And ideally, you're really just dropping this on board to hit certain cards. Cavendish, Rosinante, we're talking about like the 2-cost, what have you. These are just problematic cards you can remove. You also are able to hit things like Basil Hawkins, the 6-drop. For green, yes, you can hit the card. There is a way around it by attacking with everything. I don't really have to explain it, but then that's where you're wrong. This card still cannot hit Basil Hawkins, so you're not really hitting any problematic 6-drops or 7-drops that are being played in the current metagame, to be fair. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be missing at least maybe 1 or 2, but realistically, not really. Because at the end of the day, if I'm bouncing back a Jozu to somebody's hand, they get to bounce it back on the board, play it again. You don't want that. If they drop a Hody on board, you play down Doflamingo, you bounce it, they just play it back down, and they attack you again. You're really looking to remove Jesus on board, right? The 5-drop, the Cavendish, the Carrots, the problematic cards for 5 and under. And Kyros does that for you, being a 9K body as well. So I opted to run Kyros in most of my lists, and I think you guys are going to see this in a lot of Boa decks going forward. Very strong card to utilize. Everything else here is typically what you're going to see in most Boa decks. Maybe the occasional Mihawk might be a little different. I'm also playing Mihawk just because he's a 9-drop. So if we go first or second, we have something to slap down on board. Ideally, I'm not really going to get this effect off in a lot of matchups, especially when it comes to like Blackbeard. This is probably not going to happen, but he is a 9K body just to be on board for the time being. This does help you out, again, in the Jewelry Bonnie matchups. This helps you out going into the Law matchup, the Smoker matchup. He does his job, right? Now, there's going to be a problematic character that you guys are going to see a lot in OP10, and that's going to be Eustace Kid. And we're talking about both kids, regardless. We're talking about the yellow drop, and we're talking about the green drop. Both of these characters are going to be played in Katakuri. They're going to be played in Kid. They're going to be played in Law, Bonnie, a lot of these decks going forward. So I decided to stick with the big guy because we don't really have a lot of good 10-drop characters in Boa outside of the 10-drop Kaido here. And now Kaido doesn't feel bad to play. Because if you remember, when Black was the best deck in the format for a very, very long time, there's a problematic card going around here, and I think everyone remembers it. PTSD for some people is Moria. You never wanted to play Kaido down to bounce a Moria back to your opponent's hand. It never felt good. Well, with Black decks kind of not being as popular and or doing as well as they once were, we don't see a lot of Morias, we don't see a lot of Rob Lucci's. Kaido can hit other characters and get a lot more value. So Boa has a really, really good time right now with the 10-drop. In any case, our current deck list for the day is going to be something like this. I do hope you guys are going to enjoy this. I'm going to try my best to get a bunch of games in, play against some Blackbeards, play against some of the relevant meta decks, and we'll see where it goes. Now, my ratios might be a little different for a lot of you. I am only running 2 Raging Tigers. Some lists will run 3, some lists will run 4. Doflamingo still utilizes this card as well. Just as Boa, we have a little bit more free space. So being able to see this card more than 3 times is not something what I want, depending on the matchup. It's also 7, so it's very expensive versus a 3000 Worlds where I just need to remove 1 character on board. There are some times where I want to drop a Raging Tiger and your opponent may have like 1 Jesus on board and then maybe like a Don Q or what have you. Something that's not as valuable. Whereas I can just drop 3000 Worlds, get rid of the valuable target and have 3 Don left over to swing with or play a Dofi blocker down. Both of these cards are situational. They both do similar effects. I just opted to run 3000 Worlds as well just so I have that little bit of luxury. Now, Red Rocks, we're going to max this out of all costs, just because again Blackbeards are running around 10 costs. Every green deck and their brother is very scary to deal with, and we're not talking only Eustace Kid. You have to be paying attention to the cards like Zoro, which is very scary. So Red Rock, it's a must. You gotta have it. Either way, we're gonna dive into a bunch of games today. Let's get at it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Coming at you guys with Boa playing into Lim, going into OP10, in which might be a really hard matchup for us. We'll see. I do know that a lot of people are pretty much excited to play Lim here. They're getting a lot of new Odyssey cards and stuff, so this should be an interesting deck going forward. I myself, I don't know anything about the character. I know she comes from, obviously, the Odyssey game, which I haven't really dived into myself. So, we'll see. We'll see what goes on here. Now, when it comes to Lim, she has a lot of characters that she can cheat out early game, which going wide is very, very easy for her to do, especially if she does draw a pretty good hand. Getting Zoro down early can be problematic for myself if we don't have Red Rock. Now, as a blue player, knowing this, we of course mulligan for like Red Rock, Gravity Blade, or what have you, one or the other. We got them. We're doing great. We're chilling. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this just because we can. We can go 5 lead. See what she wants to do here. I don't necessarily have a need to drop the 1-cost Law Blocker, but it's fine. We'll just have double blocks. Now, if she gets multiple characters on board, this is when this deck becomes a problem. Okay. Well, you know, I said it. It is what it is. The 0 cost over there is pretty tough to get rid of as well, so... Sure. Get a Kyros here. Not bad. Okay, ramps up, does the thing. Plays another Sabo. So has 3 characters on board already. Restands 2, I believe, right? Yep. Okay. I think we have no choice. I think we have to Gravity Blade here. As much as I wanted to play down Jozu and just remove the limb and then attack into the Sabo, I think she has enough counters to remove it. I won't be able to remove the 0 cost, so I have to get rid of the other one. If I target the 0 cost, she just rests the other one to make it safe. So, we'll go 5 here. She's already at 2 life. Nice. And now this is where she plays Zoro. We drop a Red Rock and we're fine. This is the way this is supposed to work out, I imagine. But then she risks at least taking, you know, 1 hit next turn. So, we'll see. What do we do? What's the other guy they have access to? Oh, Kid, I guess. I guess Kid's a thing. Interesting. Kid can't cheat out any bodies on board for her, because it comes on board rested due to the leader effect. But, I mean, that's a thing. Now I feel like that's a bait. Because what if we Red Rock this, and then she drops Zoro? You see what I mean? That could be wrong. And I don't think we want to do that. Playing Mihawk down is fine. I cannot remove this, which sucks. And then she can just rest itself, and then it's safe. But still, we get a body on board for next turn. Dropping Red Rock, remove the Kid, plays Zoro, then I'm cooked unless we find another Red Rock. Because our hand is not good enough to deal with Zoro with the amount of counter that we have. We have 2 blockers on board, so they'll stall out at least for 1 turn. But I think we can work around the Kid without having the Red Rocket. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. We're going to have to search out for another Red Rock or a Kaido to remove it here. Alright, 6 lead. I think we can take this safely. Never mind. Another Kyros, that sucks. It's just in this matchup here, I feel like Kyros is not going to be as impactful, just because she's able to ramp up so quickly and just drop big bodies on board. I mean, that's a possibility as well, but we also have no counter in hands. And she hasn't really played anything on board for Kyros to come down to bounce back, so... Haven't seen a Doflamingo yet. Goes 9. I think we have to guard out here. 2 Dawn open. I mean, would she run Punk Gibson? Is that something that she could run here? She goes up to 9k, rests Doflamingo there, and then attacks into Mihawk with Kid or Aldo. Or Dio, sorry. We can bounce the Kid back to hand and call it a day. She'll rest it herself, I imagine. Also rest that instead. Okay. Smart. Because then we just clear it, right? I'm hoping to get cards out of hand here. We know at least one of them's a kid, so. And then I think we'll just go 9k with Mihawk as well, like to lead. So use his effect, go up to 7, sure. Yep. One in trash still, that's his ability. We'll go here. She definitely has the counter to protect him, so putting her to 1 life is probably beneficial here. We have no counter in hands. I mean, we got 4k, but that's definitely not enough. Like, if there's a way for her to rest Dofi and then attack all into Mihawk, I don't think we have enough to protect him. And she definitely could. If she is running Luffy, I mean not Luffy, but Sanji, there's a possibility for her to run Luffy as well. This deck is kind of all over the place, I feel. It has a lot of very good top-end pieces. I never know what to expect when I play against a limb leader. 9 here, interesting. We'll give you the Jozu. I kind of want to, no, actually we'll give you the Law. Just in case, because Jozu can come down later and bounce something back to hand. And then we can also use Red Rock at some point. Law, I still need to find a Jinbei or another body on board for me to get a lot of value with it. And she has nothing that's worth bouncing back to hand here that I'm able to. I think here, when she goes 9 to Mihawk, I think she just wanted me to get cards out of hand. Which is interesting. Or block with the Doflamingo. So I think if she would have went 11 into Mihawk, that would have forced me to dump the rest of my hand or give the blocker up. So I'm not too sure what she's going to play on this turn. Okay. Newgate. That's interesting. I like that, actually. It's pretty good. I did not expect that. But I would think you'd play Newgate first to kill the Dofi, and then go 11 into Mihawk to force more cards out of hand, unless she has something else that she wants to play here. Because then perhaps she gets the Dofi and the Mihawk off me. So what do you play here for 5? Because she has the option of removing board, right? Okay. Because she has the option of removing board or putting blockers down, otherwise she loses. Okay. That was super risky. Let me think. Hold on, wait. Because I don't think we want to go heavy into Newgate at all. I think we go straight lead, right? We have 7 Dawn left to play around with here. So we go big lead. We drop Kurosa on board. We bounce the Newgate back to hand. She gives us the 2k counter. We should be able to put her on 0, I think. Bare minimum. At least I'm hoping to be able to put her on 0. Darn. Maybe next turn. That was a lot of 2k counters, but we'll go 12 here. This will put her to 0, right? Then we'll bounce that back to hand. So we kick that back to hand, and it can't really do anything outside of being a 1k counter. We have quite a bit of counter now, with 3 2k counters. We're at 2 life, she's at 0. She has to play blockers here on board. So use this Kid, we know she has in hand. But Kid's not going to do all too much because he comes in rested, so he cannot get off an effect. Okay. 15 into Kaido is a thing, but I don't think you have enough cards in hand to protect for 19k with Mihawk to face. But we will protect this. She'll probably run 9 into Mihawk here. Oh, she can use leader ability. Okay, fair. Dofi hits the board. Sure. She has 1 blocker. Interesting. Also chose not to attack. Okay. We can do this multiple ways, realistically. I probably should have Red Rocked him. That way I had more Dawn efficiency here. But it's okay. I'm not necessarily like in trouble here. Let's go 7 lead first. This will pop the Aldo. Oh, never mind. Well, that's a crazy hand. Double Kids pretty much no counter here, right? Because Double Kid, Sakazuki, Ardeo, sorry, I don't know why I keep saying that. So only 3k worth. Not too bad so far. Where's the Zoro? I'm not seeing Zoro here. Interesting. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into another game. Come at you guys with Boa Hancock playing into Smoker and OP10. Unfortunately, this matchup is going to be very, very difficult. I haven't had, I want to say, like, a consistent win rate against this deck right now with Boa. And I think that's due to the fact that this man can just get the banish off when it comes to the Smoker. Having that on board on top of the Tashigi makes it very difficult to remove both with like things like Gravity Blade. And sometimes they're out of reach of being able to do like a double removal. So the opportunity where you have Red Rock and then 3000 Worlds is very, very late into the game. And by that point, they typically are already winning. I just find it very difficult to remove both at the same time. The one way that I have had success with this matchup is getting the Law in the Jinbei early game and just having the opportunity of bouncing that Tashigi back to hand with Law. But you know how hard that is sometimes. You know, most of the time you don't see it. When you see it, then you typically don't see removal cards. It's a whole thing. But we got rid of the Sanji though. That might be a mistake. I probably should have saved that for the Smoker here, if they have Smoker. If they do, we're kind of cooked. Because they drop Smoker on board, they restand 2 down with Leader Effect and 1 down with Smoker, then play the Tashigi, right? That's the dream. And then we can't remove either one of them with Jozu. Because we get to play Jozu here on curve. Okay, never mind. Okay, alright. 10k, alright, you got it. Another 3000 Worlds, can't complain. Alright, so far this hand is not looking the greatest. So we don't have any bodies on board to pressure life here. And now it's just either I play Jozu down or we play down Doflamingo. I mean, we can play Jozu and bounce back the Perona, I guess. But unfortunately, I think Smoker knows this as well. That's probably why they didn't play any cards down. Because now it's really just, again, you play down the Dofi here or you play down the Jozu. If we get the blocker on board, it kind of feels a little bit lackluster. Because we could have just went 8k, just in case he decided to guard out. So I guess we'll just play down Jozu. We'll bounce this back and then call it a day. At least it's a 7k body on board. That can swing into something if I need to. But surely, Smoker Tashigi comes down, right? Because if I remember, Smoker kept hand. So, they got Smoker, so there's a Smoker. Perhaps they didn't have one originally. So thank you, Virgo. 4 down open. If they don't have it, we're good, right? Because then we can just remove both of them with Gravity Blade next turn if we need to. Or we can just activate 3000 Worlds to battle deck it. So, give you a 2k here. Can I get lucky? No Tashigi, please. Never mind. Alright, this card is very problematic to deal with, because I don't really care about the Virgo, and I just want to remove the Smoker, but I can't remove the Smoker without removing the Tashigi first. And that's the downside. Because even if I Gravity Blade, they just get protected here. I mean, Sengoku could find me a Law, which would be nice. I just don't think that's the play. Because we drop down a Kyros here, we bounce back the Shigi to hands. Again, we need to remove the Smoker in this situation. It's very hard to deal with this. If I bottom deck it, we just lose out on tempo. There's the Law. Which we could play Sengoku here. As much as I want to draw into the Law, I don't think that's the play. I think we have to just remove one. Let's drop this first. That's fine, just to get this on board, I guess. We go ahead and do this to draw another card. We get the Jinbei. Let's go 5 lead. So next turn we can draw into the law. And in case they decide to play down another Tashigi, we have a way of bouncing that back to hand with the Jinbei Law combo. 2k. It did have one. Go 7 lead. Okay, so 1 life. We have all this removal, just no counter in hand. And I can't really do the removal things when a Tashigi is on board. In hindsight, Smoker might be a really good matchup into blue. At least into Boa. So we get Kid down. We don't have to worry about them not having any Dawn because I get to activate 3 here. So they get 1 for Kid. And then we just hope they don't have another one. If they do, we're cooked. They do. Alright. Well, this was fun. We might still have a way of dealing with it, but because next turn we know we're getting the Law, so we can drop down like a Jinbei into the Law, right? Bounce the Perona back to hand, bounce the Tashigi, then Red Rock the Kid. That's a lot of pieces, but I think we can do that at the very least. We have to take this hit 'cause I need the Jinbei, I think, just to have the bodies on board. Ooh, what is that? Okay. I kind of overlooked this one. Yeah, because I was thinking about using that in Sugar for some reason, because that actually helps out with popping characters for Beckman. Go ahead and guard out here. Okay. I think this is going to be our only play here. So we drop Jinbei, right? We drop Law on board. We bounce back this, and we bounce the Tashigi to hand. We get to draw a card. Okay. Sure. Or Red Rock the Kid. And then unfortunately we don't have any Dawn left to attack into the Smoker, so we'll just clear the Virgo first, and then go 7 lead. We probably should have just went 5 to face there, but you never know. Can I get away with this? Do you have the counter? They did. That is an E-show. Interesting. Alright, so if they have the Hody, I think we're cooked. Depending on what these 2 lives are. If they're 2 2Ks, we might be able to survive. But they play Hody for 7, they have 3 Dawn left, they set up 3 Dawn, then they have 6 more to play around with. So I think you can go 7 with lead, 7 with Smoker, and 9 with Smoker, 7 with leader, and then 9 with Hody Jones. So I'm pretty sure they'll just take the game that way. Because they go 9k with Smoker, right? Just to banish the top life. And if not, I have to counter and give them my hand. Even if we had the counter in hand, the 9k wouldn't be probably not worth here. Yep. Yeah, they got me here. We played well, I think. Unfortunately, we saw a lot of removal pieces, which is great. It's what you want to, but we just could not afford to drop multiple removals in a turn to get rid of the Tashigi to remove the other pieces. I think Tashigi really helps out when it comes to playing against removal decks. So blue, black, what have you. Very, very good. And again, it's not that we played bad. I think we played well. Same thing to the Smoker here. He avoided the Jozu plays, deciding to go 10k to face, which is interesting. So we lose out at Perona. I don't have the counter here. If only, man. If only. Well, there's a 2k. We needed that earlier. We have just enough. Unfortunate. Oh well. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And they also had another Hody Jones. Well played. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, rapid fire. Come at you guys with another matchup with Boa playing into Jewelry Bonnie in OP10. I'm going to try my best. This is going to be another one of those tough matchups for us if they're able to stack off the Kid and Tashigi's on board. I think Kid right now is very much underrated. Especially with the new Tashigi that we have out. It's very hard to deal with them both on board. For black decks, for removal decks. And I think the only way that we can do this is Jozu and the Bounce Law. Speaking to Shigi. Hey, cool. We got there. This might feel a little weird, but I guess we'll just play down Law, bounce back Sengoku, pop Tashigi back to hand, and we're able to at least go 5 to face. Let's go 5 first here. Just in case, you know? I don't know if Bonnie's running any shenanigans here when it comes to triggers. Okay. We'll bounce. We'll pass it over. But anyway, I think the only way to successfully remove the Tashigi off the field will be Bounce Law and the Jozu. Because everything else feels like a waste. There's a Red Rock. Just to try to remove the Tashigi first. Because now we're at 6 here. I don't have Jozu in hand, unfortunately. There he is. Wish I can draw him, but I cannot. So I guess we'll take the 1-cost blocker. I'll play down... They have no Dawn up here, so I think we're okay. We'll play down another Bounce Law. And then we'll bounce back the Sengoku to hand and bounce this back up. Let's go 5 lead here. And then we're going to pass on attacking with Law for now, just in case they decide to attack into him. We'll play down the 1-cost blocker for now. Because they go up to what? 7 Dawn next turn? Yeah, 7 Dawn. Let's see what you got here. Do we have Cavendish? Nope, Basil Hawkins. 5 lead. Okay. We'll go 5 lead first. The rest of Law. Okay. Interesting. I feel that was a weird play. Because surely they have at least 1k counter in hand, right? Because in this case, we can just go 12k with Law into Basil Hawkins and then play down either Kaya or Buggy and call it a day. Because at that point, you either save them or you don't, right? 6k counter. Nice. We'll drop down a Kaya to draw 2. I will trash Red Rock and Kyros in hand. I know it feels really weird to throw this card away, but we have 3 of them right now. And Kyros might not get as much value as I want in this matchup. We didn't see any Basil Hawkins, so... There's a kid. And yep, they had it. Okay, 5 into this. Let's just block with the 1-cost Law. I mean, we're at 3, so it's fine. We get a Jinbei. A little late. But nice having him early game to do a little bit more damage here. I do need to remove the Tashigi somehow, shape, or form. I can't drop Bounce Kaido. I mean, I can, but Tashigi just protects them, right? Which is unfortunate. Because if I remove the kid, they get the rest of the Tashigi to keep the kid on board. So, it doesn't really help out. So I need to find either another Bounce Law, or we need to find Jozu to get out of this, I think. Because at least Jozu will replace himself and have a body on board instead of me just spending 6 Dawn to try to remove Tashigi here with Red Rock. Feels a little bit lackluster. No Jozu, no Law. So we'll put all these on the bottom. I know it seems a little crazy, but we're about to do some digging here. And if this loses us the game, it is what it is. So there's a Jozu. But we don't have enough Dawn to get to it. And at least this turn. Like, we can draw into it by dropping a Kaya on board. Sure. Right? But I can't play him down. So we'll take that. We get a Sengoku. So Jozu's not really going to be valuable here in this scenario. So I think we'll toss him. And then we'll toss out the Red Rock, I guess. Drop this on board. No Law. We'll take another Jinbei here. Actually, we'll take the Doflamingo. Just to have another blocker. Can I get lucky? There he is. Okay. Those are actually really, really good picks here, too. Because we get the Law, the Kaido, and the Mihawk. We're chilling, we're chilling. Let me cook, man. I got this. There's a Hody Jones, rest both blockers, I assume. Sure, take your life, man, that's fine. Goes 5 here. We'll give them a 2k counter. I know this is weird, but they'll probably want to run in Hody and Kid into the other ones. Yep. It's fine. They're not attacking face, I can't complain. Sure. Alright, we're doing good, boys. Play down the Jinbei. We'll get the Law on board. We'll bounce this back to hand. We'll pop this back to hand. We'll draw a free card. Another Kaido. We knew that was there. We'll Red Rock the Kid. Oof. That was a lot. But hey, man, it works out. They'll rest Law. Sure. And now we'll just start eating cards out of hand here. 2 life left. We have enough to drop Bounce Kaido next turn. Yeah, I saw the Dofi coming, no problem. We'll take the 8k swing here. So I can either... Ooh, I forgot about the Mihawk. We'll play Mihawk here and bounce Hody Jones back to bottom. Draw a new card. Sure. We'll go 5 lead first. We'll go 5 with Law. I'm gonna pass it over. I know we could play down the Perona, but there's obviously no spot where I would replace something for Perona here, and it's better to keep her in hand for counter. Because Doflamingo is going to be removing one of our characters at the very least. And she potentially can go 7 to something else, but she wouldn't be able to have us Dawn restanding, so... If she decided to play Kid. I don't know why I didn't finish that sentence. Okay, so another Hody Jones. Sure. Thanks for going down the 1 life for me. 8 here. You got it. We have a way to deal with Rosinante, that's for sure. We can drop Kaido here. We can bounce both of them back to hand. Draw a free card. Another bounce Kaido. I think it's looking good here, actually. As long as they don't have another Hody Jones, I think we're fine. If they do, and we don't get any counter off life, we're just cooked. And it's just meant to be at that point. Hopefully they don't have one. Alright, 5 lead. That's where you goofed up. Here you go. You got it. Okay. So they're trying again. I'm pretty sure we win the game here, I think. I think the game plan here is 3,000 Worlds of Rosinante. That leaves us with 6 Dawn. We get to draw a card, which is terrible right now. We can attach all Dawn the Kaido. And then go face. Because there's no way he can get out of this. Period. Even if all those are 2k counters. Because that makes him have 17. Wow, I actually called that. That's crazy. Okay. That was a really, really tough Bonnie matchup. Pretty stressful, not gonna lie. The amount of counter they had at the end there, too, was crazy. Thankfully, they can only go up to 17k. And, you know, quick math, anyone could do that, I guess. Even if they had a zero-cost event, they didn't have enough, so. Which is nice, right? Because in that situation, you just go 18k. I didn't bother have to attack with my leader or my 9k. If I did, we definitely won the game without, like, you know, stressing over it. But going 18k, knowing they can only go up to 17 was pretty huge. The fact that they were able to just get down the kids with the Shigis multiple times was not cool. So, they played it well. They did really, really good. They didn't bother playing Cavendish on board. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't see it, or they were just worried about it being removed, but still. We're going to dive into this game here as well, playing against a yellow-purple crocodile, which is interesting. It's a leader we don't get to see that often, but it definitely still cooks. And it does have access to some of the new stuff in OP10, like the 8-cost Kid, the Basil Hawkins, so it could be a problematic deck here for us. Especially if we get to late game and they have the Yamatos or Aces or the Crocodiles back-to-back to chain to heal themselves. Because we only have 4 red rocks, right? So we did get 2 in hand and a balanced Kaido. So as long as we can stay healthy, we might be able to survive. We get a Jozu here, not bad. Of course. Well, I guess Jozu can't really be helpful now, can he? Because now we go back to 3 Dawn instead of going up to 6 for the following turn. That would have been a real nice Jozu. We'll go 5 here, and we'll just go ahead and bottom deck this with 3,000 worlds. I don't know why I didn't attack the Miss Valentine with Sengoku. That's my bad. But it's fine. Sure. I'll take that. Yep. Okay, so we have to remove Miss All Wednesday. I know, because Bon Clay gets to attack for 7 here. Because we are going to be playing down Jozu. Raging Tiger is actually nice to see. This is okay, I guess. Having the Gravity Blade coming up next, just in case, to remove some more chump blockers is probably pretty smart. Anyway, we drop down Jozu. We'll bounce back the Perona in the hand. We'll get rid of this. Go 5 lead. Cool. But yeah, potentially they have 2 attacks this turn. They're at 8, so I mean, they definitely want to play down Crocodile, or 9, sorry. They'll play Croc here, and then Bon Clay can swing at me for 7k. Give him 2k here. You know it's coming. You got it. I wish we had the counter here. Get the Doflamingo. Yep, there's Croc. Back up the 4 life to 1. We'll go ahead and remove this. And then we'll clear the Bon Clay. Hopefully. Nice. We'll go 5 lead first. No trigger, please. Okay, never mind. Okamawa is such a good card. We'll play it on a blocker. Not bad. I think we're going to need this red rock. I know we have quite a bit of removal in hand, but still. We're definitely going to need that red rock. So now he's at 9 Dawn again. 5 here. You got it. Another Croc. I appreciate you if you stop healing. That'd be great. This might be a weird play, but I want to have Crocodile on board, I think. I could Red Rock it. Like, we could very much do that. And if we Red Rock this, we just go in for 9k with lead. If we drop the Kaido, we can bounce back the Kaya and the Crocodile. So let's do this instead here. We'll bounce this to hand and this to hand. Then we'll go 5 lead. We don't get the draw. It's fine. We'll go 7 here. So that's their second Bon Clay that we've seen. And we've already seen 2 Crocodiles. We bottom decked one of them, and then we bounce one back to hand here. So Blast Breath stops him from going up to 10 on this turn, by the way. So we don't have to worry about Ace or now Yamato. Still potential for Crocodile. Yep. I mean, we did give it back to him. So that's fine. Now we can bottom deck this. That feels a little mean, but hey, the way it is. Can we see more here? Because I can still go 7k with Boa. Actually, let's go 7 here, and then we'll go ahead and go... yeah, 8 is fine. 12 lead. That should be guaranteed as well. Nice. Sure. Another will come away. Red Rock, please. Actually, we'll save that. That might be weird, okay? But hear me out. We're at 1 life. They're definitely going to heal this turn. I would think. But if they didn't heal this turn, they potentially have a way of just removing the Doflamingo and then going face. And I don't have very much counter in hand. Katakuri. Okay. Not bad. This is a tough one. Because they have a whole book in their hand. We know they have Okama Way here. We have no more red rocks. So if they start playing Yamatos back to back, this could be a problem. No, I think we've seen 4, right? I think we've seen 4 red rocks. 2, 3, yeah, we've seen 4 of them. 4 of them and then 1 bounce Kaido. Which is kind of nutty when I think about it. And they were all like spaced out a little bit. So I didn't bottom deck any of those when I went searching. So, which is really nice. I mean, we might as well attack here. Try to push this man to 0. We know he has Okama Way, so we're not going to be able to kill him this turn. Go 12. And if we attack here with Doflamingo, I think we just lose the game. Because there's no way they don't have enough counter for a 6k swing. So let's play down a Sengoku. We can take the Law. And we'll play down a Law. We'll pass it over. So we have a Bounce Law and a Jozu and a Red Rock, or sorry, Gravity Blade. So we're good to go for blockers. We just gotta survive probably the Yamato Onslaught. If that's possible. There's a Mihawk. I say we just go big here. Because if he has Okama Way, it is what it is, right? Sure. None of my cards here can remove the Yamato. So I think we should just go poking. Put him on 0 if possible. Okay. He didn't want Okama Way. I'll take that. Now that would be super risky, right? Because guaranteed that he has one. If we stack everything on Dofi and just go for face, that's 12k. He just Okamas into the Yamato. And he just clears board next turn. Or at least clears either Jozu or the Doflamingo here. There's no reason to play down another Jozu. I don't want to play... I want to play Mihawk, but I don't want to play Mihawk. We don't have the Dawn for that either. So we'll just pass turn here. Instead of playing anything else on board. Because our only other option really is just stack everything on Dofi and go face. And then hope we get enough, right? But if we take it slow, I think we can come out on top here. Unless he surprises me with some form of removal from purple. So another Katakuri could come down and remove our Jozu. Let's go in 5. So he's going to play a big bomb here. Just who is it? 9 here. I mean, we'll have to give you the blocker. Yamato, okay. Interesting. I'm not sure why he didn't kill the Sengoku on board, but that's fine. Speaking of Sengoku, we'll take this. It was actually nice. I was looking for a blocker Law, and thankfully we found it with a Dofi play here, but I was looking for either a blocker Law or the Doflamingo, just so we have something on board. Let's go ahead and go 9 lead. There's no reason to like stack everything on Jozu here and then swing it at Yamato. So I think we'll get one of these regardless, right? Because we go 9 here, and then we just go 12 lead. And then he will have to Okama Way for us to kill the Yamato for him to stay alive. Unless he has all the counter in hand. Alright, goes up to 10. Let's see if I was right. Yep, so we got rid of the Yamato. It could be an ace that comes down. I hope not. Good. Yep. He plays ace. He goes... I'm talking like the 5 cost. I guess either ace would work, right? Because he would heal 1, and then he would get the Doflamingo blocker, then he would deal 9k. With Yamato to put me on 0. So... Crocodile, sure. Is that another Akamaway? It probably is. But I don't think we're worried too much at this point. I think I can actually go for game this time around. He's got 5 in hand, 1 Dawn up. Some potential for another Blast Breath if he has it. 11 here. Interesting. Wonder why he did that. Does he have it? Sure, he did. Can we get out? Nice. Well played, man. That was a very, very good game. I actually did not expect that. For Crocodile to be that challenging for Boa here. I think it's once you get into that late game and you're able to just spam down the big bodies, it's pretty tough. Alright team, here we go. Coming at you guys with another matchup. Coming at you with Boa, playing into OP10 Law. In which I don't know what to expect here in this match. There's going to be a lot of bouncing, especially between both leaders. But I do hope you guys are enjoying this one. I know we don't get to play Boa all too often, and she is a favorite leader. So, I mean, her coming back in OP10, or at least having some form of pressure or presence here in this metagame is going to be a lot of fun. Now, coming at this matchup with Law, it's very challenging. I would say Smoker is a little bit harder to deal with, but Law still does have access to the 8-cost Kid with the Shigi, and they have access to Hody Jones here, so this is still another challenging deck to deal with. Yes, we can remove a lot of their board with things like 1 Gravity Blade, but still. Sure. Our hand is looking really, really good right now. We actually can drop down a Law on board in Jinbei. But bouncing back the Monkey to Luffy to the hand is not great. 6. Let's do the thing. Bounce this. I don't want to bounce that. Although it's good for me to do so, it's just not great for them to draw more cards. Yep. We have the out for the Cavendish. Not this turn, but the following turn. Unless we get a 3,000 Worlds. Maybe... Okay, never mind. Alright. 7 lead. Sure. We got a Red Rock, though. We did get a Red Rock here. This might be a little crazy, but let's just Red Rock the Cavendish. Like I said, I always feel like with this card, you want to get rid of it as soon as possible, so just in case it gets worse. We'll go 5 lead. Yep. And then the next turn, he should be attacking into the Jinbei to remove it. Or donning up Luffy to do so. Bounces Luffy back to hand. Plays it back down. You're so cool. Gets Basil Hawkins off that. I imagine that's not the card he wanted to look for, but that's fine. Sure. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the price of the 5-drop Law here went up as well. Now that I think about it. Go 6 here. Give you the 2k. So far, so good. We'll go ahead and bounce one of these back to hand. Playing down Sengoku here doesn't really get me any value, does it? Unless it searches me out a blocker. I mean, it does. It finds me a Law, too. I mean, we do have 1 in hand here, but still. We get the blocker, which is what we need. He should be guarding with Law. Yep. We'll go 5 lead as well. So that's the Hawkins he searched out for earlier. Off to Luffy. There's a Kid. There's Shigi. Goes 5 lead. We can give him the Sengoku here. We don't have a way of removing the kid right now, but we do have a way of dealing with the Tashigi. So we can drop Jinbei. We'll get a body on board. We can play down the Law over top of the Sengoku. We'll bounce this Sengoku back to hand to bounce that. We have enough Dawn to clear the kid, I think. We can go 12 here, because 12 is a number. This way he's forced to just give me the blocker over there. I need 5k counter otherwise. So, I imagine they give me the blocker Law. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad. We'll take those. Ooh, we get a bounce Kaido. Let's go. We'll pass it over. Yes, I know it's weird. Playing bounce Kaido, bouncing the kid back, and giving them the 1-cost searcher. But, you gotta do what you gotta do in this situation. They won't have any means of removing the Kaido, so I think we can get away with that. So what do you put on top here? If it's a Jewelry Bonnie, then he just freezes my Dawn and then we're kind of cooked. So I hope it's not going to be that. Another Law. What would you bounce here? Nothing, I guess? Okay. I lied, I guess. Let's arrest the Doflamingo. Sure. 10k here. We can't let that happen. We'll give you a 2k counter. Then it goes 6 into Dofi over there. Yep. I'll counter this as well. Right? Because if we counter here, we can play down Kyros the following turn, and then bounce like Law to hands. And still have a blocker on board. Oh, I forgot. Forgot about that. That's my bad. That's my bad. I forgot we put Kaido on top. So we should just let the Dofi go. That's my fault. That's kind of awkward, man. So I guess we'll get rid of the Jinbei instead. That way we have a blocker on board. We have to draw another card, which is the Gravity Blade. So for next turn we have Gravity Blade for the Law and the Luffy. Yep. Yeah, we're getting all these attacks in. If they guard out here, we'll run the Kyros into the Law. I need to get rid of that if possible. So they didn't have 4k counter in their hand, otherwise they would have protected that if they could. They're going to rest this again. And then Dofi is definitely dead this turn. What's his next move at this point? Because here he needs to find the, what's it called? Cavendish here. If he finds the Cavendish, you would. Unless he put that there earlier and I didn't remember. I don't think so. I don't think he did. But the Cavendish gives him the extra Dawn, which is really annoying. Because now he can go 10k here and I don't have the counter for it. Ah, man. He's cool. Yep. You got that too. Now, I don't think it actually matters. Because we have the removal here. And we have enough Dawn left over to run over the kid. And we can go 7 with Leader here while putting a 1-cost blocker on board. Yeah, that's good. Actually, let's go 14. Let's go 14 with Kaido into the kid. Just in case. Because I don't remember the cards they have back in their hand when they were bouncing. So we go 14 here. This should guarantee it. And then we just go 5, 5, 5. If one sticks, then we just win the... Never mind. So we just win the game here. On the following turn, probably. the 2K and Veggie. Get the Bonnie. So they did have a Jewelry Bonnie in their hand at some point. We got a blocker down. Now they need to heal. There you go. Yep. Interesting. They decided to take the life there. I don't know if that's what I would have done. Unless they have multiple blockers this turn. They do. Okay, fair. You got it. Oof, we probably needed that to win the game. Well, we have Law. So I guess we could Law, or Jinbei Law, to remove the Jewelry Bonnie on board. And that's one blocker we don't have to deal with. If I play Kyros down, we only have 3 Dawn left to try to go for face. So that would be 8k with Boa and then 12k with Kaido. We get a Mihawk. I'll put the Mihawk on top. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. I haven't hit the button yet. There we go. Okay, put Mihawk on top. Everything else can just stay whatever. I think at this point it doesn't really matter. I think we have to go for game this turn. This is cheaper just because we're able to remove the blocker on board. If I play down the Kyros, we remove the other blocker. So either way, we can go huge with leader and then with Kaido. So we go 10k, then we go 12. They shouldn't have enough counter in hand for this. Well played, man. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last game for the day when it comes to Boa. I forgot to mention that during our last matchup, but it's all good. In any case, we're going to play the big bad, as in Blackbeard, unfortunately. But this is going to be the deck to beat going forward in OP10. Of course, alongside of Blue Doflamingo, but Teach just gets so much worse being able to utilize Kuzan. So they get Kuzan, they already have Burgess. Both of those cards are going to be very hard to remove for a lot of decks in the format, so we'll see. I do think Boa does have good matchups into this deck. Especially a skilled Boa player, or a player who actually plays this deck a lot. I think they would argue that they're very, very good into Teach, to be fair. This man is just going to search his whole deck. Holy crap, man. I guess we just go 5 into the first searcher, and they have another searcher for next turn. Bottom decking the other searcher is not going to be the play here, so pretty good. No Law yet. I do need a Mihawk. I think Mihawk is pretty good here. We have double Red Rock. Okay. So we're not going to get a lot of bodies on board, it looks like. But we do have removal. So there's Hachinosu again. Sure. Fallen Augur. So he has a removal here. Yep. Sure. Please. Nope. I was hoping for like a Law or something that Jinbei can prop off with. Or play off with. We go 5 here. And then we just play Kyros down to bounce back the Augur to hand. Because he didn't activate no on plays, which is nice. We'll draw a free card. There's the Mihawk. So far, so good. I don't know if he intentionally didn't use his ability or he forgot, but hey man, it's his fault. Trashes that for stage. Gets Kuzan. Very problematic card. 7 lead. That's okay with me. Okay, gets Kuzan on board. I can't remove him. This card is so strong. I don't feel like it makes Teach super unwinnable or anything, but I do think the card is just very, very good. I'm going to keep pressuring as much as I can. I know I can't bounce anything besides a dot Q, so... And again, he didn't use his leader ability. I'm not sure if he's just saving it till when I get on the 10 Dawn. But even still, a little interesting. He's probably going to attack with both here, if I had to guess. Yep. And he's going to play 10 cost each. Come on, buddy. We've all seen this before. There it is. Yep. Sure. Of course, now you would do it. I mean, 3,000 worlds. Draw a free card. Red Rock. And this right here is why I think Boa is good in this matchup. Being able to hold on to these Red Rocks when you need them, it's just really, really strong, especially against this deck. You just have to be mindful of the Burgesses, and there'll be certain times where the Blackbeard player will play down one at a time, forcing you to Gravity Blade one Burgess, or having to use a Red Rock against one Burgess, which feels horrible because you want to save that Red Rock for the 10 cost each, and playing down that Gravity Blade just to bottom deck one card is just not the play. But it happens, and you gotta deal with it. Okay. Sure. Interesting. He did not have another 10 cost each here. So that's some pretty good information. We'll just go 7 here. This should be another free damp. Never mind. Okay. Well, at least this will put him on 1. I should have played down Perona, but it's fine. Why did he just end turn? Oh, he's gonna quit. Alright. Another 10 cost each. So he freezes our Kyros. We just Red Rocket and we go face. Put him on 0. And then we just do it again the following turn, I think. I think we were just chilling there at that point. Not bad, though. Good showing. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the end of the video, in which today we played around with Boa and Red Rock. We had a lot of fun in today's matchups. I feel like Red Rock was the star of the show in pretty much all of them. This card in the current meta is doing really, really well. And I think, of course, you can only utilize this in blue decks, right? And typically it's just Boa. Dofi also has access to this, but he's not teching 4 in most of his lists, if at all, to be fair. Boa having access to this removes everything in the format that is very, very strong, especially when it comes to green decks and playing up against Teach and Blackbeard. This card is just very, very good. Now, the upside to playing this deck, we have so much control in the form of tempo plays. So we have access to things like Jozu that we didn't have in OP07 when Boa came out. This card really helped the deck get a leg up. Now being in OP10, we gain access to Kyros. Again, this is the same exact ability as the 7 cost Doflamingo, right? The bouncer, the same exact effect. The only upside to this is it's 9k. So it's less counter out of hand you have to protect it, and it's still hitting the problematic cards like the Carrots on board, the Cavendishes, you're removing Burgess, you're getting the problematic cards out of the game. So Kyros is still very, very valuable here. If you guys haven't tried this out in Boa, give it a shot. Brand new card coming out in OP10. I think it's going to make do in Boa and perhaps put this leader up a little bit further when it comes to tier list and in the metagame. Now, there are some changes to this deck list in which I think I'll probably adapt to over time. I'm not too keen on Mihawk myself, and this is something that I probably will cut. I feel like in that late game, Mihawk isn't getting as much value as I want him to, especially when you're playing around with green decks and they have access to Eustace Kid, or they have access to this Eustace Kid, or, you know, like 10 cost Doflamingo, 7 cost Hody Jones. I feel like those cards have a little bit more value, especially, again, if you're playing against a green deck, they slap down a Kid here, and then they just slap down a Tashigi afterwards. Mihawk is not hitting anything other than just bouncing the Tashigi to bottom of the deck, to be fair. Where in blue, we don't have a lot of really good endgame pieces, right? At least for Boa. It's really just Kaido, Mihawk, that's about it. We do have access to Sanji, we have access to the 6-drop Boa, but as late game pieces, these aren't really doing it for at least Boa. Now, if some of these other cards want leader locked, like maybe the Newgate here, this might be pretty valuable at some point, but currently, we don't have a lot of cards to utilize in the late game. Yes, I thought about playing around with Rebecca. I'm not sure if I want to include her in this list. If I do, she will be replacing my Mihawk for me, just because this helps you out for Dressrosa. The downside to this is, we are typically a Warlord package, so she doesn't hit a lot of cards in this deck to make use out of, and I have had questions about trying Rebecca out in blue decks outside of course, Dressrosa packages. I feel like in Boa, it really can't work out as much as you'd like it to. So she doesn't really have a home here, even though this is a new card that's coming up in OP10. And we can get some play with Kyros, but that's about it. This is more so going to be for things like Rebecca and Usopp. So again, we just have Kaido, Kyros, Doflamingo, and Mihawk mainly for the late game. So your mixture of your ratios, whatever you guys want to use. Now, when it comes to the star of the show, of course, Red Rock was our winning piece in most of these matchups today, and rightfully so. This card is really good, allows you to move anything on the board. That's a problem. Now, with things like 3000 Worlds, I've been utilizing this here in all of my Boa lists, to be fair. Older Boas going forward as well. I think this card is really strong, and I think a lot of people are not paying attention to it. This allows you to get rid of the Jesus Burgess on board and the Cavendishes, all of the problematic cards. But in any case, I do hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun today, and we got to play around with the leader we don't typically see here on the channel, let alone in the metagame. So it was a breath of fresh air. Now, with that being said, we have some regionals coming up. Whether or not you guys are going to One Piece Day in Dallas, or you're possibly going to Virginia Beach or online regionals or what have you. If you guys are playing Boa, you're enjoying this leader in OP10, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have an interesting list that's a little bit different than mine, or ratios or what have you, how about your fellow community? Either way, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to smash that like button so we get these videos floating around, and I will catch you guys in the next one, and to our locals. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all later.